What you see on screen on My Lottery Dream Home is indeed the stuff of real estate fantasy, but behind the scenes, both the show and its host have some skeletons in the closet.
Launching any new TV series comes with its challenges, but for HGTV's My Lottery Dream Home, those obstacles were even more daunting, and for a very good reason. People who have just won big bucks in the lottery might not want the kind of attention brought on by reality TV. This initially made casting the show somewhat tricky. Producer Mike Krupat told Media Week, "Lottery winners don't really need the exposure and they don't need the money to participate."
Millionaires! Yay! I love it!
According to Krupat, the series' first season was easily its most difficult when it came to finding people willing to appear on the show. He said, "We reached out to close to 1,000 lottery winners, and we got 10 to appear on our first season. After My Lottery Dream Home was on the air and winners could see what the show was all about, casting became significantly easier." Krupat added, "Once winners saw the show and how it was about wish fulfillment and making people's dreams become a reality, people were more willing to take part." The show has consistently been a ratings winner for the network.
I'll show you how to live like a millionaire.
The 2018 season premiere, in fact, set a new ratings record when 3.3 million total viewers tuned in. HGTV pointed out that this was not only the series' highest-rated season premiere to date, it was also the highest-rated episode of My Lottery Dream Home ever.
Glad you only showed us 3.
I can show you more.
Please don't.
But ratings only tell part of the story. The series has also been a strong source of entertainment on other platforms beyond traditional TV. According to HGTV, in early 2020, the series was, quote, "the second most streamed show on the network's streaming service, HGTV Go." The show also performed well on social media, with a January 3rd episode generating more than 270,000 views on HGTV's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. When Season 7's Brian and his wife Took won $200,000 from a scratch-off ticket, they immediately thought of the show as a means to purchase a new home. Brian told the Herald Net, "My wife and I had always watched that show before we won the scratch ticket. I used to joke we'd have David find us a house if we ever won."
Epic.
When he reached out to producers, Brian received a quick response, and a few months later, the couple was filming the show. While $200,000 isn't that much to work with, Bromstad was able to help lead the couple to a classic Victorian on Washington's picturesque Whidbey Island. Brian said he found the long days of filming to be grueling and revealed he got a crash course in some of the more unreal aspects of reality TV.
Come on in, guys.
Ooh, wow. I like it.
Right?
According to the newspaper, Brian admitted, "I wasn't prepared for the number of times I had to walk into the same room and look surprised." What viewers of the show see on screen is only part of what takes place during filming. In an interview with TV Insider, David Bromstad described the process a lottery winner goes through during the course of an episode from his perspective. Bromstad explained that when he first meets the winners, he knows the bare bones of their backstory, but tries not to learn much more than that ahead of time.
I went downstairs and I'm like, "We won $1 million." And she goes, "Don't do this to me now."
After the winners tell him what they're looking for and how much money they've won, Bromstad spends some time with them off camera. It's then that he says, "I really get into the nitty-gritty of what they want, where they want to be, what I can look for, what I can't. We can only put so much on TV." In terms of how much advice he gives, Bromstad says that varies from person to person. He added, "I give them as much as they want to hear." The big lure for fans of the show is the spectacle of watching average folks who've just won a windfall take off on a real estate shopping spree in search of an opulent, over-the-top new home. But that doesn't always prove to be the case. Bromstad told the New York Post, "It all depends on how much money they've just won. Some people are living paycheck to paycheck, and they're pretty smart. Like, wow, I'm 35 years old and I've just won $1 million. It's going to change my life for the moment, but I've got to be smart about it."
I just want a place to gather for the holidays, upgrade the family house.
That is so sweet.
Just as there's no one particular type of home that everyone's looking for, nor is there one specific type of lottery winner. Bromstad explained, "They're younger, they're older. We had a gentleman who won $4 million, who was in his late 20s and wanted to be a landlord. Older couples are frequently looking for a retirement home for the rest of their days. It really runs the gamut." Host David Bromstad considers himself a sounding board and advisor to the people he guides through the show. He told the New York Post, "It's always nice to have someone who's not really part of their lives, an outside source, to come in without any great emotions while listening to what they're looking for in a home." While Bromstad does his best to offer wise counsel, sometimes he finds himself working with someone who's looking for something a bit on the bonkers side. Asked to pin down the oddest thing he's encountered on a winner's wish list, Bromstad told AOL, "The most bizarre was a guy who wanted a lot of bathrooms in the Hamptons. You know, we're in the Hamptons, so we want lots of bathrooms."
Don't have to wait for Christina or Donna to get out of the bathroom.
No wonder why you want an excess amount of bathroom.
The most surprising thing Bromstad has learned from fulfilling winners' requests is how many of them look for homes near families. He revealed, "That is 100% the biggest thing. A house could be in the middle of nowhere and they always stay close to family. That was something that really surprised me. It's all about family."
And action.
David Bromstad's path to hosting My Lottery Dream Home was far from typical. As the network's longtime viewers will recall, Bromstad first came to HGTV as a contestant on the first season of Design Star in 2006, competing against other hopefuls for the opportunity to host an HGTV show. Bromstad was the show's first ever winner, which led him to be hired to host HGTV's Color Splash.
My parents raised me to, work hard for my money and be very grateful and praise the Lord because of it and be humble.
That gig led to more hosting jobs with the network. And when the opportunity arose to host My Lottery Dream Home, Bromstad had become a seasoned HGTV veteran with years of experience in front of the camera. He said in a network interview, "Whenever people call me a star, I think it's weird. I go, no, I'm just a person with a cool job."
Super fun. Unicorns and rainbows, people.
After working with all those winners on the show, you'd think that surely Bromstad must be tempted to pick up the occasional ticket himself in the hopes of winning the jackpot. But he told The Wrap, "No, I do not play the lottery because I've already won the lottery. I won Design Star, and that was my lottery." In fact, Bromstad says he's, quote, "generally not a very lucky person." He told the outlet, "It's hard for me to spend $30 on a scratcher or $20 or even $10 on a few scratchers. I'd rather buy canoes." Of course, that's not to say Bromstad hasn't been tempted, which was the case when the Powerball jackpot rose to nearly $1.6 billion in 2016. He told AOL, "I was in the middle of nowhere filming when it was going on, so I figured I might as well buy a ticket at every gas station I went to. I bought $100 worth of tickets." Asked what he would have done had he won the $1.6 billion, he quipped, "I would have dropped the mic and said, 'Peace out, no one would see me ever again.'" My Lottery Dream Home is especially memorable thanks to its multi-million-dollar pilot episode. The lottery winners who appeared on the series debut, Rick and Laurie Knudsen, won more money than anyone who would ever appear on the show, a whopping $180 million.
You ever held 180 million?
No, I haven't.
Host Bromstad ultimately steered the Knudsen's to a hilltop stunner listed for a relatively modest $5.8 million. Features reportedly included, quote, 17-seat movie theater and garage fit for a car collector. Meanwhile, the Knudsen's ponied up even more of their millions for an adjacent property, a 155-acre bison ranch. The outlet estimated that the couple spent about $11.5 million of their $180 million windfall on the properties, and the following year they bought homes for each of their 5 children. Bromstad joked to the Los Angeles Times, "They bought a mountain. The home was magical, very chic. It looked like a ski lodge, breathtaking. But as big as it was very cozy."
Mountain we stared at, we own.
The lottery winners on the show really do run the gamut, from 6-figure scratch-off wins to multi-million-dollar jackpots. With so much disparity in the amount of money won by the clients, host Bromstad is put to the test as he tries to locate ideal homes for a wide range of winners. And this can go from prices no object opulence to bargain deals. The average winner who appears on My Lottery Dream Home makes off with about $1 million, according to Bromstad, who told TV Insider, "They're looking for houses that are appropriate for their win." According to Bromstad, these winners usually don't spend all their winnings on a home, typically because they'll use some money to pay off debts and gain financial stability. Most of them, he revealed, are also first-time homeowners. He said, they are living in condos or renting a home, so they're paying off debts and then moving forward. To me, winning $1 million just elevates your plans 10 years.
This is going to be an absolute hoot.
Among the many winners to appear on the show was Anthony Culligan of Louisiana, who won $2 million through his state Powerball lottery. As Culligan told the Acadiana Advocate, filming his episode entailed spending Mardi Gras weekend with Bromstad while looking for a new home near his family. He said, I tell you, we laughed and cut up and had so much fun. I didn't know he was like that. I did not know. I just started laughing and couldn't stop. During their time together, Culligan and Bromstad took in a Mardi Gras parade and even went on a swamp tour, while the newly minted millionaire also taught Bromstad the proper way to peel and eat boiled crawfish. Culligan said, this was my first time hanging out with a celebrity and it was a blast. Winning the lottery didn't change me, but it changed the people around me.
He did a great job. He made one happy family right here.
David Bromstad has advised lottery winners over the course of several seasons, and he revealed the most important piece of advice he shares with those who've just come into a lot of money, telling the Los Angeles Times, having $1 million is not going to sustain you, it's just going to progress you. He pointed to the example of someone who had appeared on the show after winning a $4 million jackpot, spending $350,000 on a home even though they could have spent much more. Bromstad said, they could have easily run out and bought a $1 million house. They understood that money is about investment.
Oh, I just love you.
According to Bromstad, his role on the show transcends real estate and home design. He says, they're bringing me in because they're stuck. It's just the overwhelming amount of choices they now have. I tell them to take a breath and make this decision correctly and have a good time with it. I treat them like a friend. We have the best time ever. It's a love fest.
David Bromstad graduated from Wayzata High School in Plymouth, Minnesota in 1992. From there, he studied at the Ringling College of Art and Design in Sarasota, Florida. According to the Star Tribune, his dream at the time was to become an animator. As Bromstad described in a 2021 exclusive interview with The List, his primary purpose for attending Ringling College was to work for the Walt Disney Company. He explained that he only had a few choices for schools he could attend to make that a realistic dream. Unable to afford one of the other options, he explained, and so I applied to that one school and that one school alone, got in, and Disney pulled directly from their illustrators. And so that's what my major was, but I realized about 6 months into my college education that I didn't want to do animation. Since his graduation from Ringling College, Bromstad has remained in Florida, living in both Miami and Orlando. While he visits family in Minnesota as often as he can, it seems that the Florida lifestyle suits the emerging artist better than the Midwest. David Bromstad may have decided against working in animation, but he still went to work for the Walt Disney Company. After graduating from Ringling College of Art and Design, he started in visual merchandising, though he didn't stay in that department for long. In a 2018 interview with Spectrum News 13 in Orlando, Florida, Bromstad recounted his choice to switch paths, saying, "My boss was like, you're too talented. I can tell you're bored. So I took my full-time job and all my benefits and went to an art, kind of like sculpting place, and then I became a private artist for them." Bromstad's tenure with Disney only lasted about a year and a half before he switched to a contracting position for the company. According to a 2011 interview with Ryan G. Van Cleve, he began working on installations for Walt Disney World, Islands of Adventure, and Universal Studios, with much of his work appearing in storefronts. Sadly, after the September 11, 2001 attacks, Disney let go of many of its contractors, including Bromstad. However, he still has love for all things Disney, and he's even accumulated several Disney-themed tattoos over the years. He also visits Walt Disney World as often as he can. After his various artistic roles and contracts with theme parks in Orlando, Florida, David Bromstad found himself designing children's spaces and model homes for an area home builder. In this capacity, he used the precise and colorful skills he'd practiced working for Disney to create fun, fantasy-themed bedrooms for kids. Discussing this experience with Cleve, Bromstad observed, "The big lesson from designing so many kids' rooms, the wow factor. A kid wants to run into their bedroom and yell, 'This is the coolest bed I've ever seen.' It was only a matter of time before the rest of the world saw Bromstad's talent. He successfully auditioned for HGTV's Design Star, which premiered in 2006 and won the first season.
I can see it.
Oh, fun. The two gnomes up here.
As a result of his success in the series, he landed his own show, Color Splash. The opportunity was a learning experience in how to display his identity to the public. He explained, "Being gay wasn't a great idea to present on TV at that time, but I had to be me, and that ultimately is what made all the difference. I learned to trust my gut and not second-guess myself." It seems his intuition was spot on, for being his true authentic self also became his ticket to a long-term gig with HGTV. While 2015 was a transformative year for David Bromstad from a career standpoint, it was a difficult one for him personally. That same year, Bromstad broke up with his longtime partner, Jeffrey Glasgow. According to In Touch Weekly, Bromstad and Glasgow had been together since 2004. In a dramatic twist, Glasgow later sued Bromstad, citing emotional and financial damages that reportedly developed after Bromstad became famous from his 2006 Design Star win. At the end of 2015, Glasgow filed a lawsuit in a Miami-Dade County court, which alleged that Bromstad was using their shared funds on drugs and sex workers. Bromstad denied the claims, and a county judge ruled against Glasgow, ultimately dismissing the case. Despite the personal and legal drama from the fallout of this relationship, Bromstad hasn't appeared to take a professional hit, nor has the experience deterred him from finding a future partner. Speaking with the Star Tribune, Bromstad stated that he was single as of 2019, but that he was certainly interested in settling down and starting a family. After moving to Florida for college, David Bromstad resided in Miami for a number of years. However, in 2020, Bromstad decided to relocate to the Orlando area. Ironically, it took him some time to find his own home in his new city. He explained to the Orlando Sentinel, "Right now I'm in an apartment. I'm so busy finding everyone their dream home, I'm neglecting my own. I'm always on the road. We'll get here eventually." The COVID-19 pandemic further delayed his house shopping, but it also gave him time to narrow down exactly what he wanted from his dream home. In 2021, he finally found it, a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom Tudor-style house near Orlando, Florida. Despite initially telling the Orlando Sentinel he wanted a fixer-upper he could customize, Bromstad ultimately opted for a newer building that was ready for an immediate move-in due to his tight schedule and frequent traveling. As a bonus, viewers were able to see Bromstad go through the difficult process of selecting a home within a certain budget, just like the average homebuyer and his clients on My Lottery Dream Home. This process was televised for a special spin-off of My Lottery Dream Home called My Lottery Dream Home, David's Dream Home, which premiered in July 2021. Just as homebuyers tour several potential options on the show, Bromstad did the same, enlisting a friend to help him with the process. Though Bromstad is happy with his choice, he's not sure it will be his home forever. He told the network, "It's my dream right now. It's such a special and unique place, and every time people come in, the vibe here is so cool and chill. It's a great entertainer's home, so I'm just living for the moment."
One of the biggest tragedies in life comes from a loved one getting sick, and sadly, David Bromstad faced that exact challenge in 2016. In a Facebook post from August of that year, the TV personality asked his friends and followers for their support after his dad was hospitalized. Bromstad explained that his dad would be in the hospital for at least a few days, with the host reporting, "His valves are freaking out and is having major fluttering. His resting heart rate was at 136, which is very high. They are monitoring him for seizures and a heart attack." Bromstad also shared that his dad wasn't feeling very optimistic amid his health issues and asked people to pray for him. Thankfully, Bromstad's father was able to make it through his tough time in the hospital. Over the years, the HGTV star has shared a number of photos with him, and the fact that the two seem fairly close only amplifies the pain both surely felt during that challenging period. As he showcased in his brief appearance on a My Lottery Dream Home holiday special, Bromstad's father even shares his son's sense for design.
"You got the right theme, it's Scandinavian."
In a 2021 Instagram post, Bromstad referred to his pops as the greatest dad ever, and alongside a few photos of the two of them smiling, he wrote, "You're amazingly kind-hearted, godly, loving, and deliciously competitive. Thank you for teaching me to be compassionate, kind, confident, and of course silly." It's not just his dad's health complications David Bromstad has had to confront. In 2015, he took to Facebook to share the incredibly sad story of his friend, Greg Gerard, who had experienced a hemorrhagic stroke. The incident completely altered Gerard's life and left him in need of a lot of care and rehabilitation to help gain back his mobility. In his heartfelt post, Bromstad wrote a long statement explaining that he joined forces with Gerard's family and a nonprofit in order to raise funds for him to get some normalcy back into his life. Highlighting the wildly positive effects physical therapy was already having on Gerard's recovery, Bromstad shared a donation page, which has since expired. The TV star also included several throwback photos of himself and Gerard in the post, which were surely even harder to see in comparison with his friend's present struggle. Bromstad doesn't appear to have offered an update on Gerard's recovery since, but judging by his Facebook page, he appears to be doing well. Sadly, David Bromstad spent some of his early years dealing with bullies. The star has opened up a couple of times about his difficult experience at school, telling Lavender during his 2013 interview that he was harassed by his classmates after moving cities, and he didn't even know why. He reflected, "Going to school was torture for me, and I dreaded going to school for fear of being tormented every day. I was always the center of every joke and always laughed at." Bromstad also shared that he would have homophobic slurs hurled at him, and that to this day, he's unsure how he survived such a tough period. Today, though, Bromstad has turned that horrific experience into a positive. The TV personality now uses his voice and resources to help others in his position who are dealing with bullies. In 2013, Bromstad donated $5,000 to Safe Schools South Florida, which helps create safe environments for LGBTQ+ youth in Florida schools. In a statement for the charity, he shared, "I was bullied and harassed continually through high school, and I know what hell that can be. I wanted to support Safe School South Florida's great work on behalf of LGBTQ students and help prevent this bullying and harassment from happening to others." When the now heavily tattooed David Bromstad came out in the 1980s, it definitely wasn't easy for him. Speaking to Passport, Bromstad recalled feeling brave enough to share his identity with those around him, but recalled his coming out wasn't exactly met with a lot of praise or understanding from those at his school. Sadly, that ostracization extended all the way to his principal. He explained, 600 kids in the cafeteria made obscene gestures targeted at me. Even the junior high principal, who wanted to be cool and probably didn't realize the meaning of what the kids were doing, joined in the ridicule. After Bromstad came out again as a public figure, he reflected that it went more smoothly than in his younger years. But that still didn't make it easy. As he explained, "I finally accepted myself for who I was and loved myself for who I was. It was a struggle for me, as it went against everything I was raised to believe. So it took me 10 years to understand that I am an amazing human being no matter what."
Honestly, when I came comfortable being gay was when my first day of shooting on HGTV with Design Star.
The star now seems to be more comfortable than ever in his own skin, and often shares words of affirmation and encouragement across his social media accounts.